Welcome members and prospective members who may be watching today. Thank you all for joining us and for your support of the Sea Pines Property Owners Association. I'm Greg Thompson, Chairman of the Nominating Committee for the 2022 election for board members to be seated January 1, 2023. My fellow nominating committee members are Lori Wellinghoff and Lee Stevens, both Sea Pines POA board members. They and everyone behind the scenes have my gratitude for making this whole process run smoothly this year. Before I introduce the candidates, I'd like to review the mechanics of our election process so you know our status. It all starts August 1 with a call for applications. And then August 31, we have the interviews by the committee completed and nominations from the committee are announced. On October 1st, nominations by petition are due, and this year we did not receive any of those. Meet the candidates, as we're doing today, occurs in late October. Our date of record is October 1, meaning you need to be registered and have paid your dues by that date in order to be able to vote. November 1, ballots are sent via e-vote or by regular mail to members for whom we do not have emails on file. Our bylaws require 20% of our members to vote to have a valid election. Please be sure you vote. Check your spam and your junk file if you don't get a ballot. If you're not able to, if you don't get a ballot by mail, sorry about that, please call IMC and we will make sure that you get a ballot. December 1 is the deadline for all ballots to be in. That's by midnight, December 1. We expect that the results will be available on or about December the 15th, and successful candidates will begin their 3-year term on January 1, 2023. Now I'd like to introduce the candidates, all endorsed by the nominating committee. We have 3 candidates for 3 openings. They're Keith Burns, Carrie DeVillette, and Ed Hughes. Our time today is designed to fulfill 2 purposes. First, to remind members of the election process as defined in our bylaws. And second, give everyone watching now or on the recorded YouTube video an opportunity to hear directly from the candidates about their experience, their motivation for running for election, and what they would like to accomplish either personally or as a part of the board over the next 3 years. So Keith, please tell us a bit about yourself, what motivated you to run for election, and what you would like to accomplish as a member of the board. The floor is yours.
Good, thank you, Greg. Well, everyone, I'm pleased to be with you today. Again, my name is Keith Burns. I'll give you a little background on myself and my professional career. I had a 37-year career with Ernst & Young, or EY as they call themselves now, and predecessor firms. 25 of the 37 as a partner, and the last 15 of that as a managing partner of 2 different practices in Michigan and in Wisconsin. I've served clients of various sizes and industries and complexities, so I can bring a lot of perspective regarding organizational dynamics and things like that to the process. I also served over my career and ongoing even today, approximately 20 different community boards. And I had the pleasure of leading 5 of those boards as board chair. Since my retirement, I spent some time in the consulting arena in areas dealing with organizational culture and corporate governance. As it relates to Sea Pines, I do sit on the CSA Finance Committee currently, and I was a participant in the POA Covenant Review Task Force. My wife Peg and I have a history with Sea Pines and Hilton Head dating back to 2009. We went through a process to find a warm home and looked at a lot of different places and had some criteria that we were looking for. And after visiting Hilton Head several times, we determined that filled all of those criteria. And so we bought a home in 2009, and we really enjoy the community. One of my motivations for running is that we value the Sea Pines community and the lifestyle. We do feel a sense between the two of us that that is changing a bit, and particularly the last 2 to 3 years. There's been certain pressures that have formed within the community that's made it feel a little bit different. And there's certainly growing pressures from outside the Sea Pines community, even outside of Hilton Head, that is creating pressures on that lifestyle and feeling. So I want to participate. The motivation is to participate in addressing some of those pressures and trying to resolve some of the difficulties in the lifestyle changes. What I think I bring to the process myself is I think groups, it's shown, have better decisions when there is a diversity of thought among the group making the decisions. As a part-year resident, Peg and I are there starting soon, and we'll be there through the springtime. That's a little bit different perspective, perhaps, that could add to some discussion. And since 2009, when we were both still working, we had put the property in the short-term rental market. And so we have quite a bit of experience in the short-term rental market and some of the dynamics within that, and how some of those pressures might be affecting our community right now. I view myself as a data-driven, independent thinker. So I think that can be a positive contributor in most any environment, and particularly in board settings and group decision-making settings. And so I like to think I bring that. And then interestingly, when I worked for EY is very much the last 15 to 20 years of my career was a quote unquote matrix organization, which meant that it had leaders in function areas. I think audit, tax, consulting. It had leaders in geographies. That was my role, was being managing partner of 2 different offices and markets. And it had leaders in industry sectors. And so there was a lot of shared decision-making, a lot of robust debate when it came time to allocation of resources and things like that. And I think I thrived in that type of a matrix organization, have a lot of experience in it. If that sounds vaguely familiar, you think about our Sea Pines community and a rather complex power sharing which exists in the community between the POA, which clearly has the interests in alignment with the residential property owners, the CSA, which has duties relative to managing the physical assets and staff and a lot of things that comes with that. And then, of course, the resort, which retains a number of other duties or rights as part of the various agreements, covenants, and bankruptcy orders. So having worked in a matrix organization for a long time, I think I have experience in navigating the complexity of such a shared power arrangement. And so it comes lastly to what I hope to do or participate in my 3 years is helping this board along with the board boards of CSA and resort find and navigate a path where the working relationships among the three shared power sources becomes more balanced. And some may think that's tilting at windmills, but I can be a little Don Quixote at times if need be. And my experience is, if you don't try, you know for sure it won't work. If you do try, then at least you feel like you tried. So with that, I'll turn it back to Greg.
Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Carrie, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself, what motivated you to run, and what you'd like to accomplish? And the floor is yours.
Thank you, Greg, and thank you to the folks that have taken the time to watch this live or who will watch it in the future in the recorded process. As Greg mentioned, my name's Carrie DeVillette. I am a native of New Orleans, but I lived the majority of my adult life in Dunwoody, Georgia, which is a suburb of North Atlanta. My wife Jill and I raised our son and twin daughters there. The majority of my professional life was spent in the healthcare information technology industry, where I held several chief sales and marketing positions with top Fortune 500 companies like McKesson, and most recently Cerner Corporation, where I retired in 2017. Our journey to Sea Pines is probably similar to what many of you have encountered. We were invited by friends to come here in 2003 and visit, and we immediately fell in love with Sea Pines. After that, we vacationed here for a number of years, and we purchased our home in Heritage Woods in 2008. From that point in time, it was Jill's and my goal to retire here, and that goal was recently accomplished when we moved here this past September. Prior to Sea Pines, as I mentioned earlier, we resided in Dunwoody for almost 40 years. And during the majority of that time, I was very active in the Dunwoody Homeowners Association, where I served as president for several years. And up to our move, I was a director on the DHA board. I also served for the last decade as the vice chair of the City of Dunwoody's Urban Redevelopment Authority. I've subsequently resigned from both of those board positions in May when we sold our home in Dunwoody. I've always been active in my community's governance and am interested in ensuring the future viability of Sea Pines, which is what motivates me to serve. Over the last 5 years, I've been active in Sea Pines as well. I currently serve on 2 CSA committees, the Short-Term Rental Committee and the Gate Committee. I also serve as the co-president of the Heritage Pine Homeowners Association, along with Alex Cruden. My wife Jill and I own and operate our own property management firm here in Sea Pines. The majority of homes in our portfolio are short-term vacation rental homes. With over 2,300 homes in Sea Pines on the short-term rental committee or the short-term rental market, I believe having this experience and perspective adds additional value to the organizations that I serve. There are 2 things that I want to focus on during the next 3 years. The first is continuing to improve the communication with our members using technology to gain a clear and defined perspective of the issues at the forefront of our community. In my brief time on the board, I've become engaged with our board members in looking for ways to enhance our website. We want to make it fast and easy to see what events are going on and that are available to all Sea Pines residents. We're doing this by updating our landing page with a community calendar. Next objective is we want to add polling capabilities so that we can solicit and quantify member input on specific issues and objectives or concepts. I'll personally feel like we've accomplished a significant step forward when we incorporate the use of push technology to engage our members by soliciting their input with online polls. So imagine receiving an email from your property owners association asking you to complete a short survey on issues germane to the community, or the ability to vote electronically on board elections or referendums. We're going to come a long way in the next several years. The second objective I will focus on is the expansion of the land use management department. Many of our residents are not aware of the fact that due to the hard work and focus of several members, on the Sea Pines Property Owners Association Board, formerly ASPO, LUM was created by that board and by the hard work of those folks. And that funding for the LUM employee's salary was funded by this POA until it was transitioned to CSA, where it now resides operational. With over 2,300 vacation rental properties in Sea Pines, there's no way one employee who works Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, has the bandwidth to properly enforce our community guidelines. Many of you contacted me in the past with concerns about ongoing violations, including illegal parking, loud music, lights, towels hanging on balconies, bikes scattered all over the front lawns, etc. And I know it's particularly frustrating when this issue occurs after 5 o'clock or on weekends, since it impacts the already scarce resources of the Sea Pines Security Department. I know that there are many pockets and clusters of rental properties throughout Sea Pines that are impacted by this, and parking on the streets can be a significant safety issue for emergency vehicles in some of these locations. I believe that both of these objectives are important and that solutions are achievable over the next several years. So I appreciate everyone taking the time to watch this video and would appreciate your vote for this important seat. Thank you.
Thank you, Kerry, very much. Ed, looks like you're going to be the cleanup hitter today. So if you'd please share a little bit of your background, what motivated you to run, and what you'd like to accomplish as a member of the board for
Okay.
us.
Glad to go forward. My wife Tricia and I moved to Hilton Head in 1974 when I graduated from law school at the University of South Carolina. Our first residence was at Briarwood Villas. We rented a Briarwood Villas for about 4 years. Briarwood Villas are located on Calabogie Cay Road. So our first residence was in Sea Pines. We lived there for about 4 or 5 years and built a home on Otter Road. We lived there for a while, then sold that home, bought another home on Live Oak Road, lived there for a while, then bought a home on Calabogie Cay Road on the creek side, lived there for a little over a decade. Then about 4 or 5 years ago, was downsizing a bit, sold the Calabogie Cay house, and then bought a Briarwood Villa. So since 1974, since we moved to Hilton Head, we have lived in Sea Pines, and we have loved our stay and love Sea Pines. We had 2 kids born here and raised here, so it's very very much part of our family as well. I'm also at this time president of the Calabogie Cay Condominium Association. Currently, I am up in Cashiers, North Carolina. I have a second home, or we have a second home in Cashiers, North Carolina. We're coming back to Hilton Head in a few days, but our primary residence is Hilton Head and Sea Pines, and we intend to keep it that way. I practice law on Hilton Head, mostly in the real estate development business from 1974 until the end of last year. End of last year, I took senior status in the firm that I'm in now. So I don't do a whole lot of work, but I was involved in a good bit of the development and have been involved in almost all the communities on Hilton Head. We've been involved in the administration in some of the development in Shipyard Plantation, some of the development in Port Royal Plantation. I did the covenants and restrictions and set up the community associations for Wexford, for Indigo Run, represented Melrose Company when it purchased Hilton Head Plantation. And then in my last 20 years or so of my legal career, I represented the owners of Palmetto Bluff and did that development. So I've been involved in real estate development, but more importantly, this discussion, I've been involved with the governance and administration of community associations, and have a lot of background in that area. In addition to my legal background, been involved in several community organizations. I was on the board of directors for several years of the Coastal Discovery Museum, several years of Volunteers in Medicine. I was on the board of directors for several years of Sea Pines Academy, which is now Hilton Head Preparatory School. And then the thing, I also started in 1975, the Hilton Head Island Rugby Club, and played rugby until I was 50 years old. As I said, my wife and I, we've lived on Hilton Head and in Sea Pines since 1974. It's our primary residence. We love Sea Pines. We love Hilton Head, and we intend Sea Pines and Hilton Head to be our primary residence moving forward. I see Sea Pines as a wonderfully vibrant community with commercial, resort, residential activity. It works really well. Sometimes there's arguments, sometimes there's disagreements, but it's worked real well over the many years. And I want to be part of it to continue to work well and to be part of Sea Pines being the wonderful community that it is. So I've got all this experience in this in the background of doing this from a legal point of view, from an administrative point of view, and we have lived in Sea Pines since '74. So that's why I'm running. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ed. Appreciate it. I think all of our viewers can rapidly see why the nominating committee is so happy to have this slate of candidates running this year. You all are very, very well qualified, and thank you for stepping forward. We're not going to have a Q&A session in the interest of time. And so that is pretty much the information that we wanted to share with you. Again, thank you to everybody who's watching this video, either live or in the recorded version. Please be on the lookout in your inbox or your mailbox for a ballot. And if you have any problems, call us at IMC and our administrative folks, and they will take care of you. If we don't have your email, please share it with us. It just is going to make communicating a lot easier. It's a lot faster, and it's way more administratively efficient. Speaking for the board and the nominating committee, we hope you're very fully informed about our candidates and how we operate our elections. And thank you all very much for watching. Most of all, thank you to our great candidates for stepping forward and being willing to share their time on behalf of their neighbors. Thanks again, and appreciate you watching. Have a great day. Bye.